As long in Greece, don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment.
Unit 1. Pleased to meet you. Dialogue 1.
Hello, I'm Vicky.
Hello, Vicky. My name's Helen.
Pleased to meet you.
And you.
Unit 1. Dialogue 2.
I'm Stuart.
Hello, Stuart. I'm Jenny.
Nice to meet you.
And you.
Unit 1. Dialogue 3. Paul introduces himself to Mo.
Hello, you're Mo, aren't you?
Yes, I am. And what's your name?
I'm Paul. Pleased to meet you.
Pleased to meet you too.
Language point. Introducing yourself and finding out people's names always involves the verb be. For example, if Jenny wants to tell someone her name, she can just say, I'm Jenny, or she can say, my name's Jenny. To find out someone else's name, she says, what's your name? All these phrases contain special short forms of the verb be. Let's have a look at how they work. In colloquial English, when we are speaking in informal situations, we use special short forms for some verbs. So in Dialogue 1, Vicky says, I'm Vicky. I'm is the short form for the full form I am. And in Dialogue 3, Paul says, you're Mo. You're is the short form for the full form you are. With verbs that have short forms, not only be, but also have, do, and some others that we will meet later. We do not normally use the full form in speaking, except when we want to put special emphasis on the verb. But we have to use the full form in tag responses. See next language point. So for the present tense of be, we have short forms for all persons.
The present tense of the verb be has full forms, and also short forms that are used in normal conversation. Listen to the difference between them. In each case, you'll hear the long form first, and then the more common short form, followed by a pause for you to repeat. Here they are. Notice that the long forms have 2 syllables, while the short forms have only 1.
I am. I'm. You are. You're. He is. He's. She is. She's. It is. It's. We are. We're. They are. They're.
Pay attention to the pronunciation of these short forms in British English and notice that all the full forms have 2 syllables, while the short forms all have 1. Be careful with the he, she short forms. You can't use it after a name ending in ss, chi, ish, x, or z. So we say, Fred's here, Fiona's here, Terry's here, Brian's here, John's here. But James is here, Rich is here, Trish is here, Max is here, Baz is here, not James is here, Rich is here, Trish is here, Max is here, Baz is here. We will see some more short forms in the next unit. It is important to know how to use them as they form a common and typical feature of colloquial English every. Question tags and tag responses. In Dialogue 3, Paul says, You're Mo, aren't you? And Mo answers, Yes, I am. In English, when we want to check that something we have said is true, we can add a question tag after a statement that invites the other speaker to confirm what has been said. There are many different types of tag, so for now, we will just look at one. Paul makes a statement. You're Mo, but he wants to make sure this is true. So he adds, Aren't you? So that Mo can tell him that he's right. Yes, I am. Here are some more examples of tagged statements. You're a nurse, aren't you? You're James, aren't you? You're a computer technician, aren't you? You're from Germany, aren't you? Mo responds to the tag using the full form of the verb be. Yes, I am. We don't use the short form in tag responses, so it is wrong to say, yes, I'm. We will look at question tags in more detail in Unit 2.
Unit 1, Exercise 2. This exercise is to help you practice question tags. For example, you hear,
You're a teacher.
And you have to add,
Aren't you? You're a teacher, aren't you?
There'll be a pause for you to repeat the whole sentence, including the correct question tag. Then you'll hear the correct answer. Okay, over to you.
Simon's a footballer. Simon's a footballer, isn't he?
Susie's a nurse. Susie's a nurse, isn't she?
Pete and Dave are lawyers. Pete and Dave are lawyers, aren't they?
Ella's from Poland. Ella's from Poland, isn't she?
This food's delicious. This food's delicious, isn't it?
We're a bit late. We're a bit late, aren't we?
It's cold this morning. It's cold this morning, isn't it?
You're from Finland. You're from Finland, aren't you?
Ilsa's from Austria. Ilsa's from Austria, isn't she?
Unit 1, Dialogue 4. Rosemary wants to introduce Justine and Tim to Stuart, who doesn't know them.
Stuart, this is Justine.
Hello, Justine.
Pleased to meet you, Stuart.
And this is Tim.
Hello, Stuart.
Unit 1, Dialogue 5. Justine introduces Vicky to Chris.
Vicky, do you know Chris?
I don't think so.
Chris, this is Vicky.
Hello, Vicky.
Hello, Chris. Pleased to meet you.
Introducing people. You can find out whether someone knows someone else or introduce two people who don't know each other by asking one of them, "Do you know?" followed by the name of the other person. Vicky answers with "I don't think so," not because she isn't sure, but because this is a more indirect way of saying no. It would sound rather short or slightly abrupt just to say no. Let's look at another example of two people being introduced to each other.
Unit 1, Dialogue 6. Stuart is seeing if he can remember the names of everyone in the room.
Now then, are you Helen?
Yes, I am.
And is that Sue by the door?
Yes, it is.
And are you Jenny?
Yes, I am.
And is she Anne?
Yes, she is. Well done.
Unit 1, Dialogue 7. Sue is talking to Shamira in the office.
Is the coffee ready?
Yes, it is.
Good. Where's the sugar?
It's over there on the table.
Are you sure, Shamira?
Oh no, here it is, on Tim's desk.
Is Tim off today?
Yes, he is. He's ill.
Poor Tim. Coffee for two, then?
Questions with the verb be. We turn statements using the verb be into questions by simply changing the order of the pronoun, I, you, he, she, it, etc., and verb in the full form. So, I am I, you are you, he is he, she is she, Kevin is Kevin, we are we, they are they, Anne and Jenny are Anne and Jenny. Notice that there is no short form for questions. For example, instead of he is, we usually say he's, but we cannot say's he. Instead of is he. Most verbs in English don't form questions in this way, as we will see in later units. But this is always the way to make questions with be.
Unit 1, Exercise 3. Here you have to turn statements into questions. Remember that you have to use full forms of the verb be in questions. Here's an example. You hear,
I'm late.
and you turn it into a question by saying,
Am I late?
and remember to get the intonation right for the question. Make your voice rise at the end. Let's just hear that one again, shall we?
Am I late?
Did you hear the intonation? OK, here we go. You'll hear the correct answer after a pause.
Dave's off work today. Is Dave off work today? It's cold outside. Is it cold outside? We're in the right place. Are we in the right place? Everyone's ready. Is everyone ready? You're tired. Are you tired? They're in the garden. Are they in the garden? Morgan and Eddie are here. Are Morgan and Eddie here? Oliver's outside. Is Oliver outside? Jenny's inside. Is Jenny inside?
Unit 1, Dialogue 8. Brian is having trouble with names and faces.
Is that Jerry over there?
Yes, it is.
And who's that with him?
That's Ben.
And where's Sandra?
She's over there by the window.
Oh, yes. And who's that with her?
That's Dave.
Unit 1, Dialogue 9. Ben has a list of names of people in the office, but he doesn't know who's who. He asks Justine to help, and she points them out as he reads out their names.
Right. Where's Helen?
That's her, by the door.
And Stuart?
That's him, at the computer.
And what about Jerry and Adrian?
That's them, by the coffee machine.
And finally, what about Justine?
That's me, silly.
Personal pronouns. When we looked at the verb be earlier in this unit, we saw the personal pronouns that are used with verbs in English. Here they are again: I, you, he, she, we, they. These are mostly used before verbs. Notice that in English we have different pronouns in the singular for males and females, but we do not make a distinction in the plural. They is used for all third-person subjects, whether male or female. And notice that you is both singular and plural, and both informal and formal. We don't have a special form for addressing strangers. You is correct in all circumstances. All the personal pronouns except you have two forms: the subject form and the object form. Subject form I, you, he, she, we, they. Object form me, you, him, her, us, them. We use the object form of a personal pronoun when it is the object of the sentence. See grammatical terms. We will look at this in a later unit, but we also use object forms in identification sentences, for example, after that's, as in Dialogue 9, where Justine is pointing people out. That's him, not, that's he, that's her, not, that's she, that's them, not, that's they, that's me, not, that's I. It is wrong to use the subject forms in this kind of sentence.
Unit 1, Exercise 4. Now an exercise with pronouns. You have to answer the questions using the correct pronouns. For example, you hear,
Where's Terry?
and you have to say,
That's him.
using the object pronoun him to refer to Terry. Give your answer in the pause and then wait to hear if you were right.
Where's Janet?
That's her.
Where's George?
That's him.
Where are Paul and Jerry?
That's them.
Where's Sue?
That's her.
Where are Anne and Tim?
That's them.
Idiom, what about? In Dialogue 9, Ben asks Justine, "Where's Helen?" Then he wants to ask the same about other people. He says, "What about Jerry and Adrian?" And what about Justine? We use what about to indicate that we're asking the same question as before.
Unit 1, Dialogue 10. Shamira introduces herself to someone who has just started work in the same office as her.
Excuse me, I don't know your name.
It's Kath. Hello.
Hello, Kath. My name's Shamira. Pleased to meet you.
And you?
Do you know the people in our office?
I know their faces, but I don't know all their names.
Maybe I can help you out there.
Yes. That person by the photocopier. What's her name?
That's Helen. And the man sitting with her?
I know his name. That's Adrian, isn't it?
Yes, he's our boss.
Possessive adjectives between them, Shamira and Kath cleverly managed to use all the possessive adjectives that correspond to the personal pronouns we've already met.
Unit 1, Dialogue 11. Stuart and Rosemary are at a party. Stuart doesn't know anyone, so Rosemary is pointing out who's who.
Who's that over there then?
That's Dave.
And the two people with him?
Those are friends of his, but I don't know their names. And then you see that woman by the window?
With the funny hat?
Yes, that's Miranda. Her husband works with Steve in the garage down the road.
And which one is Steve?
Steve's not here. He's off on a course somewhere. But there's his brother, Mike. He's in computers.
Really? Like me?
Let's go and introduce ourselves, shall we?
Good idea.
Pointing people out, when we are indicating or pointing a person out, we use that rather than the pronouns he or she. So when Stuart indicates Dave to Rosemary for the first time, he doesn't say, "Who's he?" He says, "Who's that?" And Rosemary replies with, "That's Dave." This is the normal way of pointing a person out in English, and it isn't rude or impolite. It is okay to use he or she, but it's more natural and much more common to use that. In the same way, we say, "What's that?" when we point to a thing, but in this case, we never say, "What's it?" However, when we point out more than one person, we do use the pronoun they or those people. But the answer can still be that. Who are they over there? That's Mick and Sandra. Not, those are Mick and Sandra. Who are those people in the corner? That's the Smiths. Or, those are the Smiths. Who are they in the other room? That's the Chinese students. Or, those are the Chinese students. Who are they at the bar? That's the rugby club. Not, those are the rugby club. Let's. When Rosemary says, "Let's go," shall we? She's making a suggestion to Stuart. This is a very common way of doing this in English. You start with let's and then add the verb in its base form, the dictionary form with nothing added. Let's go for a walk. Let's phone James. Let's order a pizza. Let's have a barbecue. Then Rosemary adds the tag. Shall we? At the end to make the suggestion more open, inviting Stuart to agree or disagree with it. In this case, Stuart agrees by saying, "Good idea." He could also have said any of these other phrases, "Okay," then, "All right," then, fine by me." Why not? Idioms. The adverb off has a number of idiomatic meanings in colloquial English. In Dialogue 7, Sue asks, "Is Tim off today?" And in Dialogue 11, Rosemary says that Steve is off on a course. In this kind of phrase, off means away, and it can be used when someone is away or when they are going away. For example, we can say,
"I'm off to London tomorrow." "I'm going to London tomorrow." "I'm off in London tomorrow." "I will be in London tomorrow." "Jenny's off in the morning." "Jenny is going away, leaving in the morning."
Sometimes the same phrase can mean two different things. Jenny's off today can mean either that Jenny is leaving to go somewhere today, or that she is away from work. Rosemary tells Stuart that Mike's in computers. This is an informal way of saying what kind of work he does. It means that his work is something to do with computers, but that Rosemary doesn't know exactly what his job is. Compare these two statements. Mike's in computers. Mike's a software designer. The first description is vague or unspecific, while the second description is precise. Here are some more examples of general descriptions of someone's job. Harry's in publishing, Fiona's in fashion, Kath's in education, Paul's in politics, Vicky's in banking. Finally, notice the difference between in and into in this type of sentence. Mike's in computers =, Mike's job involves computers. Mike's into computers =, Mike's interested in computers. Stuart says, "Really?" in response to a statement by Rosemary. This is not a true question. He's not asking Rosemary if what she said is true, but is simply a way of expressing interest in a fact not previously known. Look at some more examples. "I'm going to sail to New Zealand in my yacht." "Really?" "Norman's bought another horse." "Really?" Stuart adds, "Like me," to say that what Rosemary has just told him is true of Stuart as well. He could also have said, "Me too," "Same here," or "So am I." Here are some more examples. Posh and Bex are English. "Like me." Terry's a long-distance lorry driver. "Me too." My brother's an accountant. "Same here." Jerry's going to Spain this summer. "So am I." The first three responses can be used in all situations, but be careful with "so am I." It can only be used in answer to a statement using the verb be, on its own or in conjunction with another verb as in the last example above.
Unit 1, Dialogue 12. Now Andy introduces Marion to Rosemary.
Rosemary, this is Marion. She's from Brighton.
Hello, Marion. What do you do for a job?
I'm a teacher.
So am I. Where do you teach?
In the college here. What about you?
I teach in a primary school.
And this in Dialogue 9, Rosemary says, "I teach in a primary school." She uses the indefinite article with the noun because it is the first time it has appeared in the conversation. This is why we use the indefinite article when we say what someone's job is. I'm a doctor, Susie's a teacher. James is an airline pilot. She's a nurse, he's a footballer. Paul's a university lecturer. Jeremy's a poet. Harold's an estate agent. Jane's an orthodontist. Mike's a surgeon. Fiona's an archaeologist. The indefinite article has two forms, a and you can tell which one to use by the sound of the word that follows. If the following word begins with a consonant sound, we use a T. If the following word begins with a vowel sound, we use and remember that it is the sound that is important, not the spelling. In the list above, you can see that Paul is a university lecturer. The word university begins with a vowel in writing, but the first sound of the word is /J/, which is a consonant sound, so A is correct here. Pronunciation. Many very commonly used words in English have both strong and weak pronunciations. In normal speech, we use the weak pronunciation of these words, unless we want to emphasize them for some reason. The weak pronunciations of the indefinite article are e and eastin. Make sure you use these when you are speaking. We will meet a lot more weak pronunciations in Unit 2, Language Point 13. We use the definite article when talking about something that has already been mentioned, or that we know about anyway. James is taking a taxi to the airport. Tom works in an office in the city. We already know about the airport and about the city, but not about the taxi or the office. These are new information. Old information, that new information, and we also use an to talk about one thing out of many, and the e to talk about a unique thing. The sun is a star. There is only one sun, but there are many stars. This is a large room, but that is the largest room in the hotel. There are many large rooms in the hotel, but only one of them can be the largest.
Pronunciation. The word the has two pronunciations. Before a consonant sound, it's pronounced the, but before vowel sounds, it's pronounced the. Have a listen to these examples.
The nurse. The architect. The university. The hour.
Unit 1, Dialogue 13. Vicky's leaving early, but she doesn't forget to say goodbye to Helen, Jenny, Stuart and Rosemary.
I'm off now. Bye, everybody.
Bye, Vicky.
Bye, Vicky. See you tomorrow.
See you, Vicky.
Bye, Vicky.
Saying goodbye, you may have noticed that none of the speakers in Dialogue 13 actually said goodbye. In colloquial English, this phrase is usually shortened to bye. It is always okay to use this when you are leaving someone and want to say goodbye. We can also use the phrase bye-bye, particularly when talking to little children. Another very common phrase is see you. You can say just this, or if you know when you'll see the person again, you can add a time phrase such as tomorrow, on Friday, or next week. In normal speech, see you is usually pronounced "see." Make sure you use this pronunciation when you're speaking. If you don't know when you'll next see the person, you can also say see you round or see you around. Nobody in Dialogue 13 says this because they all expect to see Vicky tomorrow.